Chicago.
Hey, happy Friday to you. It is August 20th and time for this week's Friday Funnies. And let me start out by saying, I don't believe it. After deliberating for 15 days, the jury in the trial of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich found him guilty of one count. One count. There were 24 counts of corruption on the table. They found him guilty of one count of lying to the FBI. A lying politician. What a concept. Well, there's going to be a retrial, but before that happens, Rod is being considered right now for a new reality show. He's going to host a less controversial reality show, something called Extreme Mosque Makeover, New York edition. That said, here are this week's Friday Funnies. We're going to start out with an old favorite of the funnies, something we like to call news from around the world. First stop, France. In Cannes and Saint-Tropez, male tourists are being threatened with a $48 fine if they are caught walking around the street with no shirt on. Apparently, the uppity French said that they're tired of looking at, and these are their words, hairy-chested Brits. And so they are imposing a fine on anybody walking along the street without a shirt on. Unless, of course, they're a woman. What a bunch of boobs. Next stop, Australia. Frank Hushka of Woollahra, Australia. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but, you know, doesn't make any difference. Not like anybody from Woollahra is watching this. Anyhow, Frank has got some splaining to do. He woke up after an alcohol-fueled argument with his wife. When he woke up, he was on top of his wife on the kitchen floor. To make matters worse, his wife was dead. Now, you'd think that would shock anybody, but not Frank. He just looked at her, grabbed a beer out of the fridge, and went to bed. Later on, he was charged with strangling his wife, but Frank says he remembers absolutely nothing after the fourth bottle of wine. He is claiming the Alzheimer-Gewürztraminer syndrome defense. From here, let's go to Canada. Police in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada have arrested a motorcyclist for not wearing a helmet. He was also not wearing pants or underwear. Now, as an avid motorcyclist myself, I can tell you that had this man fallen, the road rash probably would have killed him. Or at least embarrassed him. Or really, really messed up his social life. He was, however, wearing a shirt, so he'd be good to go in France. All right, here's another Friday's feature we haven't watched in a while. We call it the Jackass of the Week Award. You know, I continually point out that lawbreakers are not the sharpest knives in the drawer. And this theory was proven out again this week. In Athens, Georgia, a man broke into the Howard B. Stroud Elementary School late Monday night. When he did, he set off the burglar alarm, which alerted the police. The police got there in time to see this guy running out the back door, and as they watched him, they noticed his cell phone fall out of his pocket. So they picked it up, looked at it, scrolled through the numbers, and decided to call one labeled Ma. Yeah, they got the burglar's mother, who told them his name and where he could be found. So this is just a note for all you first-time burglars out there. When pulling a heist, leave your cell phone at home. And finally, remember that song from back in the 60s, Who Wears Short Shorts? Well, if you remember those lyrics, you're going to appreciate this story. In Everett, Washington, 4 cars were involved in a traffic accident. Nothing serious, but while police were checking out all of the damage, the passengers and the drivers were standing by the side of the road. And among them were several very attractive women wearing short shorts. How attractive? Well, just in the time they were out there, they caused 2 more accidents from guys driving by, giving them the once-over. So now there's 2 things about this story that strike me. First of all, this must be the reason that they make women wear burqas in the Middle East, to cut down on traffic accidents. And secondly, can you just imagine what would have happened had the bare-bottom biker ridden by at this same time? The mind boggles. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. Remember, we are now entering the dog days of summer. The dog days of summer. Please, no scooting on the carpeting. I'll see you next week.